All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. The first story that I've got for you guys today, Hunter Labrada, his latest physique update, showing off the improvements that he's made to his back. He said that was the main thing that he was focusing on improving this year during this prep, and I think that really was his main lagging body part, and I do think it looks like in this video that he has improved his back. He does look overall bigger than he looked last year, and I think his conditioning looks pretty gnarly. Now, I think it's interesting that he says he weighs 257 pounds in this update here, because we're going to talk about this next, is Nick Walker's physique update. Nick is weighing 258. And that's going to be Hunter's biggest adversary. Hunter was 4th place at last year's Olympia. Nick was 5th. I have Hunter just outside the top 6 this year. But I'm curious where you guys think Hunter Labrada is going to place based on all these recent physique updates, based on the new lineup that we have this year, which I think is much deeper and much more competitive than last year. And Hunter was surprisingly a polarizing 4th place finisher last year. I think there was a lot of people that thought that was a controversial placing, and I was surprised to see how many people had an issue with Hunter Labrada taking 4th last year. And honestly, I'm right there with you guys, man. I am so excited to watch the Olympia as a fan, to see what happens, because I have no idea. I really think anything could happen. Is Hunter going to be outside of the top 6? Is Hunter going to stay where he was? Is there a possibility that Hunter even moves up? Is there a possibility that Hunter gets into the top 3 at this year's Olympia? Anything, I think, is possible. How likely each of those outcomes are is a whole nother discussion. But either way, what we do know is it's going to be a battle at the Olympia this year. So we did get another update from Nick Walker. Again, he says he weighs 258 pounds in this update. He hit a side tricep there, so we can actually put a side-by-side of Nick and Hunter's side tricep. We can screenshot Hunter's and put it next to here. So he says, I think that Matt liked the way I looked better in person. 258, pretty flat, so we're doing a really high carb day today and see how the food pushes when he sees me tomorrow morning. Peak week has begun. It is crazy, but we are a week away from the Olympia now. 1 week out are all these updates that we're going to be talking about over the next couple of days, and I think Nick looks pretty good. Now, in my predictions, I've got Nick taking over Hunter's 4th place spot this year. But I got to be honest, when you do compare Hunter and Nick's updates, I think Nick does look a little flat in comparison to Hunter, and Hunter looks a little bit, this is the interesting part, is that Hunter almost looks freakier because his upper body is so conditioned, his upper body is so vascular, and I think it's interesting that they're so close in weight, because that was the main difference between Nick and Hunter before, is like, Nick was this mass monster and Hunter was this more aesthetic men's open guy. Not necessarily a mass monster, still a big guy, but he had a more aesthetic and pleasing to look at physique, a little bit better posing than Nick. But now that they're weighing about the same, I think it's going to make for a very interesting battle between the two. I think Nick and Hunter will probably still be in the same call-out. We'll probably get to see them compared again this year. But with Hunter's added size seemingly catching up to Nick, with comparable or even arguably better conditioning at 1 week out, I do got to say I think Hunter looks a little bit ahead of Nick, to be completely honest. But like Nick said in his caption, it could just be that he's flat, maybe he just needs some carbs, and it is the beginning of peak week. I just can't wait to see how these guys actually compare on stage. I think it's going to be super interesting, and I think it's going to be crazy competitive. I really think it's just going to be an awesome Olympia, man. I'm so excited. Now, next up in the news, we did get an 8 days out physique update from Big Ramy. It's kind of more of a training update, really, and it was kind of a sponsored post by his new sponsor, Smilodox. And you can't really see a whole lot of Big Ramy, but you can see some, and it was filmed at 8 days out. So I did want to give a little, context over top of this, of a recent quote from Dennis James, who's kind of coaching him and training with him in these final phases of his prep. And this is from Dennis James's podcast. Dennis says, if Ramy's not 100%, there are 6 to 7 guys that are going to beat him. He's not that superior like some people like to make him out to be. If he's not on, especially this year, there's plenty of people that can beat him. Last year, he was not as good as he was in 2020. I agree. He still won. Friday was close. It was only 1 point between him and Brandon. And Saturday, he slammed the door shut by dropping like 6 or 7 pounds. On Saturday, Ramy was 279 pounds, according to Dennis James. So that's pretty light for Big Ramy. Dennis continues, when I was over there in Dubai, he was 335 to 337, and he was already in great shape. It's something that I haven't seen from him ever at this weight. This is what I see. When he's bigger, he flows better. Right now, he's better than he was in 2020, and he weighs 305. So he says Ramy's current weight at 8 days out is 305 pounds. It doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, what's important is that he nails his conditioning and that he's going to be able to hold his poses. So I thought it was interesting to hear this perspective from Dennis James, because really almost everybody's predictions that I've seen, everybody's got big Ramy winning. Everybody seems to think that Ramy can't be beaten. And for the person that is closest to big Ramy right now to say there's 6 or 7 guys that can beat Ramy, Ramy needs to come in 100% on, and he agrees that Ramy was a little bit off last year, I think that's pretty noteworthy. And there are several guys in that lineup that have beaten Ramy before. William Bonac is a big one. Bonac just beat Ramy at the 2020 Arnold Classic. Not that long ago, right before Ramy's first Olympia win. So there's guys that have done it, there's guys that can do it again, and guys that haven't done it yet that possibly could. But I honestly do have a feeling that Ramy will be bigger than ever and more conditioned than ever, and probably the best version of Ramy that we've ever seen, and I don't think he's going to be beaten. If somebody does beat Ramy, I'll be shocked. But hey, like I said before, anything can happen. Now, we also got a physique update, a posing video from another guy training out there in Kuwait, Ahmad Ashkanani, who will be competing in the 212 Olympia. And again, I think the 212 Olympia is going to be very exciting this year because that title's kind of wide open in the absence of Derek. And Ahmad is a guy that in the past had some pretty impressive battles with Flex Lewis, and he really pushed Flex, I think, at some of those competitions. And he looks pretty damn big in this update. He looks bigger than ever to me. Now, I'm curious to see what his conditioning looks like at the Olympia, because you've got Sean Carita, who's pretty much the conditioning king. Kamal El Gargni, another very consistently conditioned guy. Those two guys have got to be kind of the favorites in contention for the win. But Ahmad really looks grainy. He looks dense. He looks massive. And for a 212 guy, he really does look pretty impressive. And I think right now 212 is kind of getting overshadowed because you've got such impressive lineups in classic physique and men's open bodybuilding, and those two categories are really commanding much of the conversation. But I really do think Ahmad looks pretty damn impressive, and I really do think the 212 division will also be a very competitive category, a very entertaining one, and I think the outcome of this year's 212 Olympia is going to be one that's going to have people talking and have people excited. Now, the final story that I have for you guys today, Urs Kalecinski, his Instagram account got hacked. So I noticed today that you could not find Urs Kalecinski's Instagram. If you search his name right now, the.miraclebear, nothing comes up. It says user not found. And then Urs went on his girlfriend's Instagram to announce in German that his Instagram account got hacked. So I feel really bad for Urs. I don't know if he's going to make a new one or try to get the old one back. But right before the Olympia, during peak week, he loses his Instagram. I feel really bad for him. I think that sucks, but I wanted to make sure I told you guys that in this video, that Urs is currently hacked. So if he does make a new Instagram, I'll announce what it is here, and you guys can go follow that. And then if he also gets his account back, I'll announce that here as well, just to keep you guys in the loop. So that's going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. Make sure you leave a like on the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. You don't want to miss a minute of any of this Olympia coverage. And as always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power, my Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power, my secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.